It's no surprise that Rian Johnson's The Last Jedi had the biggest opening weekend of any film in 2017. Critics' reviews promised a new and exciting look at the Star Wars saga that fans would be sure to love, many saying that it was the best Star Wars film since The Empire Strikes Back. But fans have had very mixed feelings about the film, getting only 54% approval on Rotten Tomatoes compared to the 92% from critics.
What?
Even The Phantom Menace, the worst critically reviewed film in the saga, has an audience score of 59%. Just a quick spoiler warning, if you haven't seen The Last Jedi, this video is certainly going to ruin it for you, so you should go watch it first. I'm on the side with the critics of this film. Though I definitely had some issues with a few aspects of it, overall I felt that it delivered everything it needed to and set the saga up for a satisfying conclusion in Episode 9. Stylistically, Johnson went outside the Star Wars format of visual storytelling, which was kind of upsetting. Never before have we seen flashbacks outside of Force visions, but we actually see the moment Luke turns on Ben Solo. We see it 3 times, each version different. I think that was really unnecessary. I understand the concept of show don't tell, but sometimes exposition is okay, especially when what you're telling is a lie. There was plenty of it in A New Hope from Obi-Wan, and that worked incredibly well. Also, I'll agree with most of the complaints about the humor in this episode. Some of it is just over-the-top, prequel-esque humor, and a lot of it is a distracting tonal shift. I've spent some time, too much time, reading fan reviews, and there seems to be 3 main complaints with the story. Snoke's death, Rey's heritage, and mostly Luke's fall from grace. I absolutely understand these concerns, but I feel that there's a lot of misplaced anger towards Rian Johnson for these issues. And to be perfectly clear, I don't think these are issues. First of all, we don't know if Snoke is dead. I mean, he looks real dead, and he was cut right in half. But this wouldn't be the first time a Darkseid user has been cut in half, only to survive. Yeah, Darth Maul survived that, and he actually has a great story in the Clone Wars and Rebels. I was surprised at how much I liked it. Also, look at Snoke. He looks like he's been killed at least 6 times already. We don't know what Snoke's history is, and we don't know his future. We don't know if this was all part of his plan. There's a lot we don't know right now, just like when we didn't know anything about the Emperor. Something we do know, or at least we've been told explicitly, is that Rey comes from nobody special. That could be a lie. Again, this wouldn't be the first time we've heard a lie about somebody's heritage, but if it's true, it also wouldn't be the first time that somebody came from nothing. Who the f*** was Shmi Skywalker? Why was she chosen to be the virgin mother of the opposite of Jesus? Not every Force-sensitive person has to be the descendant of a Skywalker or a Kenobi or a Windu. There were so many Jedi at one point. There was the Jedi Council, all the other Masters, Jedi Knights, Padawans, Younglings. Most of them came from nobody special. The Force does not belong to the Jedi. As for Luke's lapse in judgment that completely ruined everything he had built, that doesn't ruin him as a character. He's flawed. Everybody is flawed. And he didn't kill Ben Solo, just like he didn't kill his father. And though he gave up on himself for a long time, he was redeemed by sacrificing himself to save the Resistance. Luke Skywalker has never been a perfect hero. He started out as a kid who just wanted to fight. He didn't even care which side he was on.
And if these new droids do work out, I want to transmit my application to the Academy this year.
What did you think that was, a rebel academy? Luke was ready to go fight for the Empire, even though he said he hated it.
I can't get involved. I've got work to do. It's not that I like the Empire, I hate it, but there's nothing I can do about it right now.
Until they torched his home and family. I really feel that a lot of the backlash about Luke's change in character was fueled by Mark Hamill's repeated, reckless, public condemning of Johnson's script. He said in multiple interviews during the press tour that
I fundamentally disagree with virtually
every decision Rian Johnson made about his character. But
it's not my story anymore.
Well, Mark, it's never been your story. It was George Lucas's story that you got to play a major role in.
Having seen the movie, I was wrong.
So whose story is it now? This is where the biggest problem with the new Star Wars trilogy lies. It's not just J.J. Abrams' story, it's not Rian Johnson's story, it's certainly not George Lucas's story. So who's in charge of the narrative? Well, it should be producer Kathleen Kennedy, but she seems to have a fundamental misunderstanding of the differences between producing a film and producing a serial saga. If you look at what Kevin Feige has done with Marvel Studios, you'll understand my point. He has been in control of the narrative since the beginning. He doesn't write the script or direct the films, but he goes beyond the typical film producer role and adopts more of a TV showrunner style of producing, where he's very hands-on in the storytelling, making sure certain plot points are hit and circumstances are set up for the future. He had a plan from the beginning. Kathleen Kennedy seems to have had absolutely no plan for the third Star Wars trilogy, the end of the saga. She let J.J. Abrams write the first film, and nobody should be surprised that J.J. Abrams did what he does best. He sold us a mystery box. But he didn't know what was in the box. Kathleen Kennedy didn't know what was in the box. And Rian Johnson didn't know what was in the box. So Rian Johnson said, "F*** your box," and cut it in half with a lightsaber.
Let the past die. Kill it.
A couple years ago, I sat down with two otherwise absolutely fantastic people that had somehow never seen any Star Wars film or even known anything about them. And we watched the original trilogy. Their reactions to The Empire Strikes Back were priceless. Heartbroken and convinced Vader was lying, they wanted more answers. This is definitely a common reaction to the first viewing of Empire. When it was released in 1980, before access to things like Rotten Tomatoes, Metacritic, or the rest of the internet, fans wrote into magazines, and their opinions were similarly divided. Many people were actually upset that Leia fell for Han instead of the nice guy, the hero, Luke. Because, you know, nobody knew they were brother and sister.
Luke didn't know! No one knew!
The Last Jedi is certainly no Empire. There's one too many stories happening and one too many mysteries that I'm sure will go unanswered so they can make more movies. But I still loved it, and honestly, I really love the new trilogy. The look and tone and story feels like the Star Wars I watched on VHS when I was a kid, filled with heroes and heartbreak and mysterious magic. If you're one of those people that say Disney has ruined Star Wars, all I can say is, not really, but Star Wars was ruined a long time ago, in this very galaxy. It shifted from a fantasy western in space to a cartoon sci-fi soap opera. Why is everything all glowy and shiny? Why are there blood bugs that control the Force? Why is all the dialogue so unbearably unnatural?
I don't like sand.
Why is Jar Jar Binks just... This is just awful. There are 1,000 different ways this story can come together and have a satisfying conclusion. And I'm actually really glad J.J. Abrams is the one coming back, lying in the bed he made, and finishing the saga. He has said that Episode 9 will tie into the prequels and bring everything together. Let's hope he can do that. Let's hope Mark Hamill can learn to be a team player. Let's hope Kathleen Kennedy can establish a narrative for future Star Wars films. And let's hope that fans will unite in loving the conclusion to the saga that enriched our childhoods with dreams that maybe someday, somehow, we too could become a Jedi. Thanks for watching, everyone. This is my first video, and I'll be releasing one every month about all things geek, so make sure to subscribe. I hope you enjoyed my point of view. If you have a differing point of view, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. If you're into geeky shirts or art, check out my website, goodeveningmoonshine.com, and you can use the coupon code MOONSHINER, in all caps, for 10% off your order. Thanks, and have a good evening.